My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Slay the Spire. There is a hell of a lot of patch notes in this patch, or rather there are a hell of a lot of patch notes in this patch. That's what happens when you start a sentence and don't know where you're going to continue it. You occasionally say a word and then none of the following words correct. Ah, dang it. There is, in this patch, a bug fix for empty save files now are treated as corrupted. Some files were getting deleted. Sorry. I have to imagine that that is a fix for the issue that affected us and our defect save file data, so it's good to see. There is also another bug fix to something that I marked as particularly important. Yes. Relics and orbs now trigger all effects after all cards are fully played. So I have to imagine that this is going to address the issue where if you stack up a bunch of cards in a row and then end your turn, any effects that generate orbs will not have those orbs use their passive effects. Or if you stacked up a bunch of effects and ended your turn before you gained block, for example, Orichalcum would trigger and then you would gain your block after that. So it looks like this is a ordering fix for end turns. There's also 4 different content ones. The defect event text has been added to the sensory stone event, so we'll keep an eye out for that. The magnetism card is now out of the beta branch, and is beta locked on defect is removed. Oh, okay, so I have to imagine that means that the defect is now in the main branch of the game. The Ironclad and Silent now start with 1 orb slot on the Diverse Daily mod. That's also particularly interesting because otherwise you would need to pick up Capacitor before you ever pick up a orb generating card, and you would need to play the Capacitor before you played an orb generating card on either of those other characters. So it kind of locked you out of a ridiculous amount of different choices because there were so many different kind of loops you had to jump through, hoops rather, that you had to jump through, if I want to say the correct word, before you could actually get them to work. That looks to be about it right now. All right. You know who I haven't played in a trillion years? The Silent. It's time for a Silent run. Okay, I was actually considering doing a goof where I just don't talk for the rest of the episode after saying it's now time for a Silent run. But that would be funny for about 4 minutes, and then it would be time to close the video. So, hello again, yeah. Choose a rare card to obtain for losing all gold, I think is a ridiculous option. Also, losing your starting relic for a random boss relic is not that bad. I'm gonna go for the rare card. I kind of want to go for the Alchemize, especially considering the potion overhaul and the fact that the potion belt now exists in the game as well, so I could have a total of 5 potion slots, which makes it less likely that I screw up consistently. I also haven't done a discard build in a very long time. Taking a Tools of the Trade means that you will always be able to activate at least 1 discard card per hand. Oh, I can be convinced any which way here. I'm going to go for the Alchemize. But I could see an argument, again, any which way. Looks like 3 elites is my max. We're gonna need to pick up a couple potions earlier. Skill potion, yeah, okay. We're gonna need to pick up a fair few potions in the early so that we can combat 3 elites without really having too much of an issue. I can double block for the defense here because I'm not gonna kill. Awesome. Or I could just pick up like a single dash or a single predator or a single skill. Ooh, fire potion, beautiful. Ooh, baby. All of these are great. I'm gonna go Noxious Fumes just because inevitability is so strong. I've spoken about this many a time. Oh, right. I went the path that has 2 early shops and I forgot that I'd just given up all of my money. That was a bad, not good dumb that I did. Ooh, missing out on a footworks. Bit rough there. And another option locked. Yikes. I mean, look, I've probably got to use a potion this fight anyway, and that's the This is the fight for that potion. I think here I'm just going to stall, go for the full defense. So rest next phase. Yeah, cool. We'll probably upgrade the noxious fumes. Awesome. We'll focus on the frontliner just so that we can try and get someone down before they attack. Yeah, this will do it. All right, that is an extremely low-cost early elite for the Silent here. Quite pleased about it. We're not too likely to be able to kill the sentry in the back line over the next 2 turns. All right. So instead, I'm going to focus the front line to kill it before it gets its next attack off. It's about judging your expected damage in the next couple turns effectively to try and decide what you do have the possibility of killing before it finishes its attack. And that'll do that. Dead branch. No. No. No, I don't want it. Caltrops? I guess, like, with Caltrops and Noxious Fumes, this becomes a deck that we defend heavily with. Yeah. We'll take at least a single copy. That's going to be extremely helpful in bird fights later on. Yeah, this is the fight I was worried about. So let's throw the fire potion in immediately. Use the skill potion as well. Ooh, setup's not bad. And that skill potion. Then I'll expertise, and I'll set up a zero-cost strike into my next hand. This is not good. The exact bottom card of my deck is the upgraded Noxious Fumes. You know, the one that I would want at the very top of my deck. Okay. I think I will kill in the next 2 turns. Yeah, beautiful. So then defending was correct. Defending is only correct if... So playing a 5-block defense against the Gremlin Knob, because it enrages the Gremlin Knob, which gives them 2 extra strength, means that playing a 5-block defense actually is only defending you for 3, because you're increasing its damage on that turn by 2. And then the next turn, it still has that strength, so it's doing 2 extra damage than it would have done if you hadn't blocked the turn prior. So now you've blocked for 5, you've blocked for 5, but the enemy has done 4 more damage, so you're actually only making a net benefit of 1 HP. 1 turn after that, you're making a net loss of HP by deciding to block 2 turns ago. So if you know you're going to kill the enemy in the next 2 turns, then blocking is correct. Or if your block is much higher than 5 block, it just changes the math. Also, weakness and vulnerability change the math as well, but, you know, I don't have a billion years to talk. 4 poison, 2 weak to all enemies. Didn't this used to be a strength reduction as well, or am I thinking about a... I think I'm thinking about a necrotic effect from Replay the Spire. I believe I am. Regardless, I'll probably take Crippling Cloud here. Potion Belt! Hey, this is exactly why I went with the Alchemize. Beautiful. Upon pickup, gain 2 potion slots. Don't mind if I do. Especially considering that should help me not, you know, constantly screw up. Really? That's kind of disappointing. I wanted to have my Noxious Fumes already out by this point. Oh well, at least I'm waking you up with a pretty big load of poison. Not good. I'm gonna speed potion here, actually. It's only defending me for 5, but potions are worth very little to us right now. Ooh, neutralize on this turn is not great. I'm glad that I got as many attacks as I did on that turn, but neutralize on that turn is not good. All right, no longer perfecting the boss. Thank you, neutralize. If I mean, I'm double striking anyway, right? Okay. Lost 8 HP against that enemy, but we did pick up the Thread Needle at the start of each combat game. Fire-plated armor, that is going to help our defense ridiculously. Burst is also a really good card in any build that is going for defense or poison, because most, but not all, of the things that provide those two are skills. I want to upgrade Alchemize, but I shouldn't, because I have the boss, this specific boss upcoming, that is to say, the Guardian. I should go with Burst or Neutralize to lower the damage of the Guardian over time. The Burst lowering the damage because it effectively enables me blocking much more than I otherwise would be able to. Blue Candle. Curse cards cannot be played. Playing a curse will make you lose 1 HP and exhaust the card. Alright, I think I can take out this boss with only 20 HP. Thank you for the early Noxious Fumes. If absolutely necessary, I do have the Fire Potion to throw in here as well to prevent the enemy from changing. I think I actually have to. That is to say, to prevent the enemy from hitting me with the 24. Ooh. Ouch. Well, first damage taken. Oh, this is the kind of hand I wanted. So 12, and I've got the block. Okay, cool. I should play all of these and a single strike. Or maybe I shouldn't have. Yeah, that's probably correct. Because then I would have kept the extra energy with this turn. From Art of War, which, if we don't play any attacks during our turn, we gain an extra energy next turn. That said, we have this poison. We have the ridiculous amount of counter damage that we do to our enemies. I mean, if I let you transform at the end of the turn, you still initiate your action. Okay, never mind, actually attack. Trying to figure out that turn economy, y'all. Okay, weaken for 2 turns. That's going to be super handy. Yeah, we're going to lose exactly 1 HP over the course of this fight. And that's going to be really, really saddening. Yep. Because that just means it would have been so simple with just a slightly different draw to have perfected that boss. Pick up a regen potion as well as... I don't have enough draw in this deck currently to accommodate bullet time. Is that true? It is currently. Will I pick up draw though? Probably. We have the Golden Idol, so it's going to be really difficult to argue that I should pick up Ectoplasm. As much as I want the extra energy, I'm actually kind of super keen on going for the White Beast statue here. Also, it is worth noting, there is a large amount of the reason that I'm not taking Runic Dome here being that, you know, 1 for me, 1 for you. I, personally, in my own play, if I weren't doing it for a series, I would take Runic Dome here 100% of the time, because the goal of this deck, at its highest aspiration, is defend so much and just wait for my enemies to die from Noxious Fumes or Caltrops. So I'm just going to be defending anyway. So like, my enemy's intent should not really calculate into what I do. So I would immediately take that. But for the sake of the interesting differences in the series, and also I have 5 potion slots, and I have an Alchemize, and there's been the potion update, and some people hate it when I pick up Runic Dome, I'm going to go for the White Beast statue. Okay. Ah yes, this city. I see 3 Elite Path. I also see Trees of Green and Red Roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, oh, What a wonderful world. Is that the first time I've done my Louis Armstrong? That might actually be the first time I've done my Louis Armstrong on here. I admire my restraint, considering. Doesn't even hurt my voice. I just got used to it. All right. Pop in the DMGs. This enemy is entirely kind of mapped for its actions. It has 3 different actions that it does in a row. It blocks on the first turn for... I actually can't remember how much it blocks for. But then on its second turn, it hits you for 10, as well as frails you for 5 turns. Or maybe it's only 5 turns in Ascension. We'll see. We'll see. Is it 5 turns in non-Ascension? Yeah, it is 5 turns in non-Ascension. And then attacks for 10 by 2. Ooh. Is it important that I perfect this fight? No. Not at all. I was considering whether or not I use a Dex Potion there, but a Dex Potion is very powerful in a long fight. So using one here is a pretty hefty decision to make. It would have to be pretty definitely necessary. My apologies for the brief silence. I am definitely under the effects of some kind of a flu or a contagion or a bug or a pandemic or an... I'm not just going to continue repeating words, but I got a bit of a sniffly nose. I would rather sniffle off microphone than on microphone. I have to imagine you'd prefer that as well. None of those really figure into how we proceed in this build, nor that, actually. But it's not a huge downgrade for us. But it's not a huge upgrade for us either. It's also an extra card in the deck. Incentivizes us to play attacks. I don't want it. I actually don't want him. Mummified Hand is only going to get better in this build. Now, here's where I have to do a quick boom. That is to say, quick maths. Can I take membership card and then Mummified Hand? So it's a 20% discount on all products. So 190 means that I would go down to 191. A 20% discount on something that is $100 is $20. So $200 is $40, which means that this would go down by slightly more than what? It'd be 56? 50, 55? So I should be able to, right? Hang on. I may actually need to... A 20% reduction on... I'm just not good at maths. Let's be real. I'm not good at maths that quick for brain and thing. So I definitely have 191 left over. So 191 means that it would need to reduce the cost of that one by 38, 47. Yeah, we'll have that. It's fine. Yeah. It's exactly 1. Come on! Like, I usually don't really calculate things in this game. I tend to use my amount of experience in the game to intuit the result, and intuition here is literally just a stand-in for experience. It's I've experienced a scenario like this enough times that I can determine what the result likely is just because of past experience. And here, when they're really, really close, like it's when usually that experience gives like a +5, -5 kind of error margin. And sometimes you actually have to sit down and figure things out. And that's when it's really evident that I'm actually not good at maths. I'm just ballparking it 100% of the time. All right, this guy hits every single turn, so I'm going to bronze. It's pretty important that I hit a weaken because next turn could be pretty bad. I'm also going to throw a poison potion in because I'm never going to get over the top of that armor. I'd have to play 3 strikes in a single turn in order to do so. And that's just not going to happen. So instead, I am going to have to rely on my Caltrops and Poison to do absolutely everything here for me. This is a really unfortunate draw. This is the largest attack that the enemy can do. It's 21 in higher ascensions, but at the moment it's 18. But I have none of my defensive cards in the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's worth noting I haven't really drafted defensive cards. I've drafted a defensive modifier in Burst, and I've upgraded both Burst and Neutralize, but I don't actually have, you know, straight up and down defensive cards in the deck. So it's not that unlikely that, you know, I bogus up a draw from time to time. That doesn't make it any less heartbreaking. Okay. Do I Bouncing Flask? I mean, I do have the Bullet Time and Burst. I have support in the deck for the Bouncing Flask already, yeah. I'm gonna regen over the course of this fight. I desperately want to burst Bouncing Flask here because it's just a great way to get this set up and started. But that's not a thing that's realistic. Unfortunately, the cost reduction from the Noxious Fumes didn't really hit the target I wanted either. I should alchemize here. Ghost in a jar. All right. You know what? I'm actually going to use that this turn. Maintain my perfects. Speaking of maintaining my perfects, let's keep that going on. I mean, this is a pretty slow burn deck, and the fact that we are still perfect against this enemy that ramps up quite ridiculously is a little bit insane. But yeah, it is now over. Don't dream it's over. Hey now. Hey now. When the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us? This is the kill, right? Cool. Making certain. Shuriken. Every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain a strength. Had I had this earlier, I probably would have picked up the upgraded Blade Dance that was offered at the very start of this floor, because then it is 1 energy for 3 different attacks, which is also 1 strength, and 12 damage distributed by 4s. It's pretty good. Definitely escape plan. I'm actually quite tempted to take the Piercing Wail here. It's another defensive card, and I'm yet to really pick up any. Which has been a problem. I do also want to try and kill this fat gremlin this turn if I can, so that I'm not weakened, but also so that the gremlin leader isn't guaranteed to attack next turn. Sure, Strength Potion will do. I should probably use a regen potion this fight. Yeah, that makes sense. It's possible that the Gremlin Leader decides to attack next turn, so I'm actually going to chunk some damage in there. And when I said chunk some damage in there, obviously what I meant is not that. Is something else instead. See, the thing is, I desperately want to Piercing Wail here. God, if I just had 1 extra energy. Because then I would be able to Piercing Wail and then burst one of the other ones. But I can't do that right now. I have to burst something. I have to burst the Crippling Cloud. It's not going to, like, the Piercing Wail would reduce all damage taken and I would take no damage this turn. But then I'm not really killing, like, ever. This sets me up to at least be able to kill them later. As you can see, they'll now all die. Unfortunate turn to draw that piercing wail then. That was probably pretty severely mishandled. I should have done the 2 strikes to kill the fat gremlin in the front line first. And then played the bouncing blast afterwards. Alright. That'll do. Show me frozen egg. We already have mummified hand as well. Perfect. And a strength potion. Probably not another bullet time. Bag of marbles is not for this build, but it's at the start of each combat, apply 1 vulnerability to all enemies. I have an admission to make. I'm gonna play Crippling Cloud and Noxious Fumes and accept some damage. I'm sorry you had to take it to hear it like this. But it's better you hear it from me than from someone else. Defending ourselves is gonna be a real hassle. I think I, like, massively over-defended there? Yeah, it looks like I massively over-defended there. At the very least, that takes Pointy down. Alright. They do no damage this turn, and they die to their poison over the next 2 turns. I really wanted to get the red mask here, because it gives me more time to set up my powers, but also, between the bag of marbles and the red mask, any enemy that we encounter who has artifacting will lose 2 charges of it initially, which is going to make it much easier to apply my further weakness and poison. Second Noxious Fumes, especially pre-upgraded, especially because I have the mummified hand. I'm going to Steroid Potion here because they are vulnerable, and I also don't want that cultist getting out of hand. Got to admit, I'm actually pretty frustrated with the cards that keep getting the cost-lowering effect from Mummified Hand. It's never the one I want. Damn it, couldn't do something passive this turn? That would be really handy. Just copying 4 damage here. Damn. Alright. Dex Potion, very handy. So is Dodge and Roll. Dodge and Roll is a really good defensive card in the Silent deck. I think I might actually need to rest before that final fight, because I think it is quite likely that we actually end up getting a bit of a whoopsie going on. That said, I don't think I rest now. Do I rest now? I've got a lead in 2 spaces. I'm going to rest. I'm kind of treating a lot of this, like, post-ascension time as challenge time. That said, the challenge doesn't have to be... The challenge that I'm effectively undertaking is I'm trying to make every build take every available elite, but I don't have to also never rest. Ugh. It's kind of disappointing. I hate that it never hits the right card. Missed a strike there, that's my bad. You're dead in 2 turns, regardless of whether I strike you or not. You're both in the exact same position, that is to say the backliners. Okay. Looks like we'll perfect the fight. Pretty much only just, though. Awesome. I'd like a footworks or two in this deck. Ghost Jar is really powerful for us. Acrobatics would be much more powerful if it weren't for the fact that bullet time costs 3 and we don't have any extra energy. We would... You know what? We would... I'm not gonna restrict myself from saying it. We would be in a much better position if we took Runic Dome rather than the White Beast statue. Like, so much a better position. It's pretty much essential here that we leave the Ghost in the Jar until the Hyper Beam on the boss fight. Which is why I'm not using it yet here. Extremely unfortunate that our super impactful powers are at the bottom of our deck right now. That was a good cost reduction, though. Allowed me to play my whole hand. Also a pretty good draw. I could have decided not to play the strike there in order to maintain the Art of War, which, as it turns out in retrospect, would not have been the correct move. Juzu Bracelet. Regular enemy combats are no longer encountered in question mark rooms. Wee bit late, but okay. Strength potion is probably less important than a poison potion in our deck, at least. Okay. Anytime we get a free turn, we're going to be casting the Bouncing Flask here for artifact removal. Yep. Okay, well, this is the time to play the Dex Potion. And we'll start buttering up one of these orbs to die, because they're about to take one of my Noxious Fumes, and I'm about to be mad about it. I don't know how to proceed. They didn't take the Noxious Fumes, so... Do I still have to be mad? I'm not really that mad right now. Crippling Cloud's still in the deck. Yeah. Noxious Fumes, Crippling Cloud. I'm definitely playing Double Defend this turn. So I should play both of those before I Noxious Fumes, so that it's a 50-50 to hit the Crippling Cloud. Rough. What are you holding? Burst. So now we've officially taken damage to this enemy. So there's a problem here. I'm actually going to throw a fire potion at you so that I can, without expending energy, gain the burst back in my hands so that I can bullet time before I burst Bouncing Blast. Because Burst Bouncing Blast is extremely impactful. There's the Hyper Beam. We'll see if we actually might be able to somehow otherwise mitigate it, because that Ghost in the Jar is only going to get better over time. Yeah, the Ghost in the Jar would only save me 7 damage this turn, as well as 1 plated armor. That's just not necessary. Very glad to see an energy potion. The amount of times I could have used one earlier is patently insane. Beautiful. All right. Another Ghost in the Jar. Beautiful. I'm always reticent to pick up Corpse Explosion, because it always feels like if the Corpse Explosion is going to deal enough damage to do a significant amount that makes you okay with the fact that you're removing all poison from the target, then you're already in a winning position, right? Like, it doesn't make a poison build work, and it doesn't really make a poison build that much better. Unless the poison build, I guess, is very single target in its poison focus. Like a deadly poison build. Whereas our poisons are all AoE, so they stack much more slowly. But by the time that any poison effect is so significant that Corpse Explosion does a significant amount, the enemies are already dying ridiculously of poison. I could see an argument for the second bullet time, because I don't know if I'm going to get an energy potion the next phase. An energy potion, not an energy potion. What am I talking about? Well, I mean, there is this Neko Eye, and I have the 2 bullet times in this deck, so we're going to take that, but you know, what I meant is I didn't know if I was going to get an energy relic. Okay, how many elites? How many elites? There's a 3 elite path that I immediately spy rather with my little eye. Something beginning with 3 elites. And it ends in the same. That's a lot of low-cost stuff, my dude. Please don't hit the backline. Please don't hit the backline. Please don't hit the backline. Nah, only hit it once. You know what? I'll take it. Okay. I'm fine with taking 4 damage here. Bullet Time Burst Alchemize seems great to me. Well, I mean, Bullet Time Burst Alchemize and Crippling Cloud. Even better. I think Smoke Bomb is the one I care about the least. Well, now that I've seen the rest of the potions that I pick up, I care about some of them less than Smoke. So I would like to retract my decision. Unfortunately, I know that is not possible. So that's not a heal. Yeah, you have to heal this turn, otherwise you are, as the kids say, completely screwed. That said, your heal actually won't register before the poison ticks and you die. Perfect. Ancient. Probably better than Steroid Rush. Second copy of Dodge and Roll. Consider that the cost is unlikely to come into play because we're likely going to be cost reducing with the Sneko Eye. Uh-oh. I'm actually going to use a speed potion here because I am going to alchemize. Oh, we've got a big problem here. We're at the whims of RNG. Oh my gosh, that's good. Well, I mean, if it's going to work out like that, I'm fine with being at the whims of RNG. It's just we could have really bad draws from Snecko Eye, and the game refuses to give us bad draws from Snecko Eye. We are getting extraordinarily lucky right now, and I need y'all to know that I know that you know that you know that you need me to know that I know that. Which I do, I know. There's a lot of people who will complain a lot about bad RNG and never acknowledge when things are going definitely extremely well for them, and just like, as a result, they kind of have this almost narrow view of their own luck, as you know, as much as luck is a viable concept, right? Turnip, you can overcome Thrail. That is actually particularly handy for us. None of those are though. But you know, as much as luck is really a concept that exists, people have this idea that they start to discount the good occurrences and only focus on the negatives, and this kind of selection bias makes people feel like super salty a lot of the time. So I find it really, really important to focus when game is good game good, like it just was. Strike. 1000%. Come on. Give me the memories you know that I know that you know I know that I know that they know, they being the audience, they know that I want. You know? Why? Why did I do this to me? I forgot. They're all 0 costs, so I'm going to be screwed when I draw them a lot of the time. Bye-bye. Ah, it's the demon one again. Bugger. Lantern and Sundial, I mean, we shuffled through our deck quite quickly. Blur is also really powerful. I also really kind of desperately want to remove cards so that I am more likely to draw into my bullet time consistently when I want it. There any ordering here that I need to consider? I believe not. All right. Hell of a lot of block for this turn. Do your 40. Ooh. Buddy. Dude, guy, pal, friend. Bud. I regret to inform you that I blocked all that last turn. You're behind the times, mon frere. I'm actually going to use the energy potion here so that I can burst Bouncing Blast and Alchemize. Of course, clearly, in retrospect, what I meant to say is so that I can burst Bouncing Blast and not Alchemize, because I don't have enough energy to do that. We may yet perfect this boss. I'm holding on to these Ghosts in a Jar possibly a little too much. Like, I might have a bit of a too good to use syndrome about them. I've used one earlier in this this same run, but right now I'm giving them a hell of a lot of respect. That is, you know, the RESPECT, find out what it means to me. That kind of respect. Okay, we'll pop out first. Had to happen eventually. Okay. I'm really glad that I now have something that kind of invalidates the costs by, you know, the Mummified Hand and Frozen Egg and Relic pickups allowing most costs to be trivialized. The bullet times and Snecko Eyes especially contributing towards that. And the Sundial coming in clutch if it's necessary. Although it's not necessary. Dreamcatcher. Whenever you rest, you may add a card to your deck. That's a lot of stuff that I don't want. Choke? I mean, we do play a lot of cards in some turns, but still not that many. Not enough to make choke, you know, kind of ridiculous. Okay. I'm actually probably okay with that Exploder exploding. We get a lot of defense quite regularly. We're definitely bursting both Crippling Cloud and Blur. Also going to burn the Piercing Wail out of the deck because I don't actually care about the ongoing attacks of any of these enemies. The only effect from them that is really problematic is the explosion from the Exploder. And I can't stop that with a... Ooh. Looks like I might not be able to stop it at all. That's okay. But I can't stop that or slow that down even slightly with strength reduction. Put the Ghost in the jar. That'll do. It's been a long time since I put 1,000 cuts in a deck, and I'm actually just looking at it like, nah, for old time's sake. Correct choice is probably Blur. Picking up a bunch of powers before we go and fight the Awakened one, probably not a great idea. Find some potions? Ooh. Bad, bad. Slightly better than a skill potion. The Courier! The merchant no longer has cards, relics, or potions, rather. No longer runs out of cards, relics, or potions. It's not that the merchant no longer has cards, relics, or potions, because you can't turn up and he's just like, nothing, man. Sorry. Fresh out. See you around, bud. We have a lot of cost reduction, so if we actually manage to hit up another... It would have to be in this exact space. But if we do hit up another shop, it's going to be kind of cool. Play everything that is not the attack card first. I can't play Survivor before the attack card, however, otherwise it'll discard the attack card. And that's so that I can get as many stacks of Slow as is humanly possible. Slow, of course, is for each card played this turn, the giant head will take 10% more damage from attacks. Again, do the exact same operating method here. I'm very inclined to burst Alchemize here. Burst Alchemize, dodge and roll. That'd be lovely. All right, I'm actually going to Gambler's Brew those. Lowering the cost of that Blur means I probably burst the Blur. Yeah, I'm actually just going to naturally Alchemize. Then I'm going to burst Blur and dodge and roll, as well as naturally play do defenses. Because next turn, you're going to hit me. And I've got, since I've got a burst Blur, you hit me this turn, and this blocks me. And then next turn, I've still got the persistent armor from the turn prior. And I block that as well. Come on, and draw a Blur. I drew a Blur there, that would be really handy. We just have to wait for this poison to build. Unfortunately, we've not yet been offered a catalyst, or if we were, it was before we picked up a poison card in our deck. Alright, I'm going to use a Ghost in the Jar to maintain the perfect in this fight. And again? Looks like and again here. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm naturally defending this turn. In fact, I believe I'm not. There's probably a possibility there of playing a Dex Potion. I probably played like 3 defenses that turn. No, I don't even know if the Dex Potion would have done it. Tori, whenever you would receive 5 or less unblocked attack damage, reduced to 1. Well-laid plans is actually pretty good to maintain 1 bullet time when you have 2 bullet times in hand. But again, it's another power. If it works even once, it's going to pay for itself. Card removal, hell yes. Get out of here, strikes. I've done this in a strange order to try and see if I could get a draw potion before I played my bullet time. Dang. Well, that'll work. Yeah, I'm just going to double blur, and I'm going to hold on to bouncing and dodge and roll. Bullet time, bouncing, bullet time, dodge and roll, yeah. This is why I held on to it. Oh, sorry, bullet time, burst, bouncing. Although I'll do it with blur instead of the dodge and roll now. Poison's how I deal damage. So I don't really need to worry about anything else. Not going to retain the burns. Alright, alright, alright. Alright, now, ladies. Yeah? Give me some sugar. I am your neighbor. Yeah, just the fact that I have 2 blurs in this deck pretty much enables me to just jump from blur to blur to blur to blur and build up effectively a barricade. It is working like a barricade. Sure, it's more inconsistent, but working like a barricade. The burst, of course, is particularly instrumental in this. All right, bag of preparation. I was gonna ask for a bag of preparation super early on. I was gonna ask for it as soon as I got my first bullet time, but now I have it. Although my opening hand has 2 additional cards, 2 additional cards, and 2 additional cards each turn, means that my opening hand is gonna be 10 cards large. So I need to smith things that get a greater effect rather than a cost reduction. I think Caltrops is like a prime consideration here. Okay. Burst Alchemize. Swift Potion. That's actually quite handy. I don't know why I seem to have decided this, but it looks like I've decided to kill the Flame Bruiser first. And considering I don't have any direct damage in this deck, that sounds like a bad idea. So yeah, let's try and pump the brakes and rectify that one. Nope. Rectification ain't gonna work here. Alright. Guess I'm just gonna hard defend through everything then. Which extremely definitely should not have worked, and yet did. Bite me, Karma. And immediately end my turn. Just let everything die passively. Beautiful. Another poison potion. Malaise is an X cost. It's also already smoothed. Let's upgrade the Crippling Cloud. It might actually be particularly handy in the opening of this fight. We're definitely using the Strength Potion. And definitely using the Thorns as well. Bullet time. Those weren't great pickups there. I'm actually just going to burn the Malaise out of the deck. I don't know when I'm going to draw into that and want to play it. Okay. Choose 2 cards to obtain? Sure. Don't mind if I do. Next hand is almost guaranteed to have a bullet time in it. Beautiful. Which should pretty much set us up. Especially with that Piercing Wail. We're just not taking damage. That's not really happening. Those frontliners will die in their own time. Which looks like the end of this turn. Yeah, that was dumb. That was dumb. I was already protected, and I didn't want to play Bouncing Blast because it was going to hit the targets that were about to die, so yeah, I should have just held off, kept key cards in my hand for a while. Double up on a Blur as well. Alright. The goal now is just to play so many damn blurs that the game can't really ever harm us. I'll keep these. Yes, because I need to start re-poisoning the next phase. Good, I'll keep one of those bullet times in hand. I will definitely burst... You know what? I think I just burst 2 blurs. And naturally Bouncing Blast. Because I should pretty much be barricaded until the end of time right now. Which might not be necessary, but has happened. Come on, and burst? Yeah. Burst those blurs again. Yeah, we're never taking damage. Beautiful. Ooh, Void. Void will actually make this bullet time unplayable. That is something I had not considered. Yeah, this bullet time is now unplayable because the Void goes into the deck and then immediately gets drawn. Oh no, thank you to... What? What gave me extra energy this turn? It's not Sundial yet. Oh, thank you to Art of War for giving me extra energy to still play my bullet time despite the Void. I'll retain Survivor, but I want Void to exhaust. Alright. Yeah, it's time to actually start transitioning into the DMG stage of the fight. My arsenal is moving into its dinner menu. We'll proceed to the heart for 970 damage. We didn't perfect early bosses, right? Didn't perfect either of the two early bosses. We only championed in the late. The build came together basically when we got the Snecko Eye and the second bullet time. I could totally see that build losing without the second bullet time. I could totally also see that build losing without the Snecko Eye. And I could also totally see it losing without the ridiculously good RNG we got on a lot of our Snecko time draws. For the moment, though, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been That's a Whole Hour. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.